Dear children, welcome to the online video class. Children, welcome to the science class. Before starting the class, let us recall what we have learned in the previous class. In the previous class, we learned that matter exists in three states such as solid, liquid and gas. Okay, now in this class, we are going to say how matter can change its state. Okay, we know how ice is converted into liquid. When we take ice and we heat that, it will be converted into liquid. How this liquid is converted into gas? When we heat this liquid is converted into gas. So, when we want to change from one state to another, either we want to increase the temperature or we have to decrease the temperature. Like that, either we have to increase the pressure or we have to decrease the pressure. So, by changing the temperature and by changing the pressure, we can convert one state into another. That and all we have learned in the earlier classes itself, in the junior classes itself, that and all we have learned, isn't it? Now, in this class, we are going to see that when we convert matter from one state to another, what happens inside the matter? Okay, what happens inside the matter and how it changes and all we are going to see in this class. Okay, before that let us recall that solid is closely packed. They are tightly packed, isn't it? The distance between one particle and another particle is less. Then compare with liquids. Compared to solids, liquids are somewhat loosely packed. The distance between one molecule and another molecule is somewhat more than solids. Then compared to gas, gases are very loosely packed. So the distance between one particle and another particle is more and more. Okay, this and that we have seen in the previous classes itself. Now let us go to the next class. Let us see how the matter changes from one state to another and what are the changes that is taking place inside the matter. Let us see in this class. Okay, now all of you take your book and come to the page number 6. Okay, effect of change of temperature. Okay, now this has to be performed in the laboratory. Okay, you take a beaker. Okay, you take a beaker. In the beaker, you take some ice. Okay, in the beaker, you take some ice. Then you fit with your iron stand and you insert a thermometer inside that. Okay, you insert a thermometer inside that. Okay, why do we insert the thermometer? Why do we insert the thermometer? To know the temperature. Okay, here we are using laboratory thermometer. Thermometer is of two types, isn't it? First one is the clinical thermometer. The second one is the laboratory thermometer. So, for the laboratory purpose, we have to use laboratory thermometer. So, it will be having the reading from minus 10 degrees Celsius to 110 degrees Celsius. So, it will be having the reading from minus 10 degrees Celsius to 110 degree Celsius. In the bulb, there will be mercury. In the bulb, there will be mercury. As the temperature rises, the mercury in the bulb also expands. So, from that we can read the temperature. So, this and all we have learned in our 7th standard. Isn't it? So, now what you are going to do? We are going to take ice in the beaker. See the beaker in your diagram? Okay, you are going to take ice in the beaker. Then you want to insert a laboratory thermometer. So, why do we insert this laboratory thermometer? To know the temperature. Then we have to take a glass stirrer. So, this is only for stirring purpose. Okay, this is only for stirring purpose. Then we have to heat the contents at a low flame. Okay, then he want to heat the contents at a low flame. So, we have to slowly heat at low flame. So, what happens? What happens? Okay, you are taking ice in the beaker and you are slowly heating. Okay, we are also fitted with the thermometer to note the temperature. So, what happens? The temperature will rise. Okay, so as the temperature rises, what happens? The ice will be changed into liquid. So, what is that process is called? That process is called melting, isn't it? The process of converting solid into liquid is called melting. That is the process of converting ice into water is called melting, isn't it? Okay, so this and all we know very well, isn't it? Yes. Now let us discuss one by one what are the changes takes place. Let us discuss one by one. So what happens as we increase the temperature of the ice? That is what happens as we increase the temperature of the solid. Ice is solid, no? So what happens as we increase the temperature of the ice? The kinetic energy will increase, isn't it? What is meant by kinetic energy? The energy which is possessed by the moving particle is called kinetic energy. So note it down. As temperature increases, the kinetic energy also increases. Okay, so this is the concept. This is the basic thing, okay. As the temperature increases, the kinetic energy also increases. So what is meant by kinetic energy? The energy possessed by the particle at moving is called kinetic energy. So as a result of increase in kinetic energy, what happens? The particles will be started to move. Okay, the particles will be starting to move. Okay, so what happens? The ice slowly melts and the particle starts to move. Okay, so why we are applying the temperature, isn't it? So what this temperature happens? Where does temperature go? So we are applying the temperature. Temperature means we are applying heat energy, isn't it? So we are supplying the heat energy, isn't it? So what this heat energy will do? Okay, come see the ice. Okay, the particles are tightly packed, isn't it? So there will be greater forces of attraction. So this force of attraction should be broken. This forces of attraction should be broken or somewhat they has to be loosened. Then only they will be converted into liquid, isn't it? So the supplied heat energy helps to overcome this force of attraction. So that's why what happens? As we supply heat energy, the heat energy suppresses the force of attraction. It will reduce the force of attraction and it will convert the solid into liquid. Okay? Yes. Now, what is that temperature is called? At one particular temperature, the solid is converting into liquid, isn't it? So, that particular temperature is called melting point. What that particular temperature is called? That particular temperature is called melting point. Okay? So, compare three things. Okay, compare three solids A, B, C. Okay, the melting point of A is 100 degrees Celsius. The melting point of B is 200 degrees Celsius. The melting point of C is 300 degrees Celsius. So, which is having the highest melting point? C is having the highest melting point, isn't it? So, where we have to supply more heat energy? To A or B or C? A is only 100, B is 200, C is 300 degrees Celsius. So, we know that C is having the highest melting point. So, where we have to supply the highest heat energy? So, we have to supply the highest heat energy to C. Why? So, there will be more force of attraction. So, we have to overcome this force of attraction. So, we have to supply more heat energy. That is, we have to heat at 300 degrees Celsius to overcome this force of attraction. Okay, have you understood, children? Now, come to this part. Come to the second page. The explanation is given, see. Okay, so the explanation is given. Okay, you read this and you take the hints and write in your notes. Okay, you read this column, you read this column fully. Okay, you take hints and write the hints in your notes. Okay, yes, now come to the next page itself. Come to the 6th page itself. Okay, I told you, isn't it? As we supply heat, the ice is converted into liquid. So, as we supply temperature, that will reduce the force of attraction and the solid will be converted into liquid, isn't it? This we have seen. Okay, listen children, now we have to note the temperature. Okay, so we are taking the ice. So, we will be taking 100 gram of ice or 200 gram of ice, isn't it? So, it may contain 3 or 4 ice cubes. Yes or no? It will contain 3 or 4 ice cubes. So it may contain many particles in it, isn't it? Okay. So we have inserted the thermometer. So why we have inserted the thermometer? To note the temperature. Now slowly heat the burner. Okay, you heat the ice at a slow temperature. Okay, you keep the burner at the slow flame and you heat. So what happens? Just first only a particle of, it may have many particles. I already told you, in 1 spoon of Dettol there will be thousands and millions of particles. Like that, in 1 ice cube there may be millions or billions of ice particles, isn't it? So you slowly heat. What happens? Just a particle of ice, first only 1 or 2 particles of ice begins to melt. Okay, you note the temperature. Okay, for example, if 0 degrees Celsius is attained means, okay, if 0 degrees Celsius is attained means what happens? 1 or 2 particles of ice begins to melt. Okay, then what happens? Again, all the particles will be melting, isn't it? Okay, the temperature will not change. Okay, first see at 0 degrees Celsius what happens? A small particle of ice begins to melt. Then we will be increasing the temperature. We will be continuously heating only, but the temperature will not rise. Okay, until all the ice cubes are converted into liquid. Okay, so we are increasing the temperature only, but the temperature is not at all rising, isn't it? So what does it mean? The temperature is hidden in the beaker. The temperature is hidden in the beaker. That hidden is called latent. That hidden is called latent. Now see, we can read with the book. It will be very, very useful. See, okay. During the process of melting, the temperature of the system does not change after the melting point is reached till all the ice melts. Have you understood? First, if melting point is reached, that is the melting point of ice is 0 degrees Celsius. If 0 degrees Celsius is reached means 1 or 2 particles begins to melt. Again we are supplying the heat energy. We are not at all switching off the burner. We are again supplying the heat energy. So what happens? The heat energy will be hidden in the beaker, but the temperature in the thermometer will not rise. It will be dissipated in the beaker only. Okay, so what happens? This heat gets used to convert the force of attraction between the particles. Okay, as the heat energy absorbed by ice without showing any rise in temperature, it is considered, it gets hidden in the contents of the beaker. So the temperature is hidden in the contents of the beaker. So that is called latent. That is called latent. Okay, so what does it latent mean? Latent is nothing but hidden. Okay, latent means nothing but hidden. So what does latent will do? So this will help to change 1 kilogram of the solid into liquid at atmospheric pressure at its melting point. So it is called latent heat of fusion. Okay, so even though we are supplying the temperature is not at all rising, isn't it? So what happens? The temperature is hidden in the beaker. That hidden temperature is called latent. That hidden temperature is called latent. So what this latent will do? Okay, so the latent is the amount that is required to change 1 kilogram of the solid into liquid at atmospheric pressure at its melting point. Okay. Okay, so what is the, so at 0 degrees Celsius, see, this is very important. Okay, the particles at 0 degrees Celsius have more energy as compared to particles in ice at the same temperatures. Okay, some of the particles are at 0 degrees Celsius, no? So they will be having more energy than compared to the particles at ice in the same temperature. Okay, have you all understood, children? This is somewhat complicated only. This is not at all easy. I know that very well. So you have to go through twice or thrice. Then only you can get some information. Okay, so it is nothing but it is very, very easy. So you know what is melting, isn't it? Melting means the process of converting solid into liquid is called melting. Okay, so when the ice will melt, when 0 degrees Celsius is attained means ice will be melting, isn't it? Okay, so what happens means here at 0 degrees Celsius, 1 or 2 particles begins to melt. But we are supplying the temperature, just we are heating, no? Okay, see the figure, we are heating only. But the temperature does not rise, the temperature will be in 0 degrees Celsius only. So what this temperature will do, this temperature will be converting all the ice into liquid. Okay, so this temperature is hidden in the beaker, isn't it? That's why it is called latent. Okay, that's why it is called latent. So the definition of latent heat of melting is very, very important. Okay, now again we are going for the next one. Okay, now this ice is melted and it is changed into liquid. Again we are heating this liquid. What happens on heating? This liquid will be converted into, first the liquid boils, isn't it? So at a particular temperature, the liquid will be started to boil. That temperature is called boiling point. Again if we continue to heat, what happens? This liquid will be changed into gas. Okay, the liquid will be changed into gas. So that process is called vaporization, isn't it? Okay, now again I am saying the something. Okay, if we continue to heat, okay, what happens? First the liquid starts to boil, that is called boiling point. Again if we continue to heat that, what happens? It will be converted into vapor, isn't it? Okay, so at the same time all the liquid will not get boiled. First 1 or 2 particles will be converted into vapor. Again like that only it will be converted, isn't it? Okay, now you insert the thermometer. When 2 or 3 particles, when reaching the particular temperature, they will be vaporized, isn't it? So the temperature will be constant, the temperature will not change, the temperature will remain same in the thermometer, and the supplied heat energy will be hidden in the beaker, and this heat energy will be converting all the liquids into vapor. It will be converting all the liquid into vapor. So that heat energy is called latent heat of vaporization. Okay, that heat energy is called latent heat of vaporization. Now you come to the definition of latent heat of fusion. What is called latent heat of fusion? The amount of heat energy that is required to change 1 kilogram of the solid into liquid at atmospheric pressure at its melting point is called latent heat of fusion, isn't it? So what is latent heat of vaporization? The amount of heat energy that is required to change for vaporization, the amount of heat energy that is required to change 1 kilogram of the liquid into vapor at atmospheric pressure at its boiling point is called latent heat of vaporization. We have to change that. Okay, what is meant by fusion? Converting solid into liquid is called fusion, isn't it? Vaporization is converting liquid into vapor. So instead of solid you have to write liquid, and instead of liquid you have to write vapor, and instead of melting point we have to write boiling point. Okay, have you understood, children? Yes. Okay, then the boiling point definition also you have to read. Okay, read through the book completely. This topic is complicated only. This is not at all an easy topic. It is somewhat complicated only. So hear the video twice or thrice and read the book twice or thrice and take hints. Then only you can understand clearly. Okay. Then one conversion is there. Okay. See 100 degrees Celsius. See take your book and see. 100 degrees Celsius. Okay, 100 degrees Celsius. So 100 degrees Celsius means we have to convert into Kelvin. Okay, so Kelvin, degrees Celsius, it is used to denote the temperature, but they are not same. Okay, 100 degrees Celsius, if you want to convert this 100 degrees Celsius into Kelvin means you have to add 273. Okay, you have to add 273. Note it, children, 0 degrees Celsius is equivalent to 273 Kelvin. Okay, 0 degree Celsius is equivalent to 273 Kelvin. Then 1 degree Celsius is equivalent to 1 plus 273, 274 Kelvin. Okay, 10 degree Celsius is equivalent to 10 plus 273, 283 Kelvin. Then 100 degree Celsius is equivalent to 273 plus 100, 373 Kelvin. 200 degree Celsius is equivalent to 200 plus 273, 473 Kelvin. So like that we have to interchange 2 degree Celsius to Kelvin. 0 degree Celsius is equal to 0 degree Celsius is equal to 373 Kelvin. Okay. Okay, have you understood? Now come to this one. Okay, see this one, solid state. If you are heating the solid state, that will be converted into liquid. If you are heating the liquid state, that will be converted into gas. If you are cooling the gas, means that will be converted into liquid. And liquid on cooling, it will be converted into solid state. Okay, like that we can change from one state to another by changing the temperature. Okay, yes. See, this is very, very important. The last one note is given. I already told you, no, 0 degree Celsius is equal to 273 plus 16. For rounding off, we can leave this point 16. So 0 degree Celsius is equivalent to 273 Kelvin. If we want to convert Celsius to Kelvin, means we have to add 273. If we want to convert Kelvin to Celsius, means we have to minus 273. Note it down. From this many problems will be asked. Okay. We have seen about melting and vaporization. Now we have going to see about sublimation. Okay, for this you take a china dish. Okay, you take a china dish. In the lab I have shown you china dish, no? So it will be like a bowl. Okay, in that you take some camphor or ammonium chloride. You crush that. Okay, you crush that. Okay, then you keep, you put an inverted funnel over the china dish as shown in the figure. Okay, just you put an inverted funnel and you plug the funnel with the cotton plug. Okay, now you heat slowly. Now you heat slowly. So what happens? What happens? I already told you, we already know that camphor will undergo sublimation. What is that process sublimation is called? The solid will be converted into gas without converting into liquid. So that process is called sublimation, isn't it? Okay. So what happens? Camphor or this ammonium chloride will undergo slow sublimation and it will be straight away converted into gas. Okay, so the gas cannot go out. Why the gas cannot go out? It is plugged with the cotton. So it will be deposited on the inner side of the funnel. So it will be deposited on the inner side of the funnel. Okay, so here two processes are undergoing. What are those? The first one is sublimation, second one is deposition. Okay, so as we increase the temperature, sublimation takes place. See here, the inner sides of the funnel will be cool only. The inner sides of the funnel will be cool only. So deposition takes place. Okay, now you underline what is sublimation. A change of state directly from the solid to gas without changing into liquid state is called sublimation. Or convert or vice versa. Vice versa means changing into liquid into solid is also called as sublimation only. Okay, here two processes are taking place. One is the sublimation. Sublimation means the solid is converting into gas. Okay, so the gas cannot be go out. Okay, again the gas is converted into solid. So this is also sublimation only. So we can also call this as deposition. Okay, now we have learned what is melting, what is boiling, what is vaporization, and what is sublimation, and what is deposition also. Okay. Have you all understood, children? Okay, so go through your book twice or thrice. Okay, then effect of change of pressure. Okay, effect of change of pressure. I already told you the difference between solid, liquid and gas. Okay, the difference is the distance between the particles. Okay, in solids the distance is very less. In liquids it is somewhat more. In gas it is very, very more. Okay, now we are going to see the change of pressure. We have seen the change of temperature. No? Now we are going to see the change of pressure. Okay, now see. So this is a cylinder. Okay, this is a cylinder. The cylinder is fitted with a piston. Piston means we can move this piston up and down. So we can move this piston up and down. We can increase the pressure or we can reduce the pressure. See the distance between the particles. The distance between the particles is more, isn't it? So this is a gas. Okay, this is a gas. Now what we are doing? Now we are pushing the piston. So what happens? We are increasing the pressure. We are increasing the pressure. So now what happens? The distance is very compared to this, the distance has reduced, isn't it? So if it is a gas, this may be liquid. Okay, then again we are applying the pressure. What happens? The distance is very less. So it is converted into solids. So as we increase the pressure of the gas will be converted into liquid. As we increase the pressure of the liquid will be converted into gas. Okay. So see what happens. By applying the pressure, particles of matter are brought close to each other and we can change the state from one to another. Okay. So how we can liquefy the gases? How we can liquefy the gases? So we have to apply high pressure and we have to lower the temperature also. Then only gases can be liquefied. Okay, then see solid carbon dioxide. How can we convert this gas carbon dioxide into solid carbon dioxide? So we have to reduce the pressure. If we reduce the pressure, we have to reduce the temperature and we have to increase the pressure. If doing so, the gas will be converted into solid. Again it will be converted into, again if you want to convert into gas, what we have to do? We have to decrease the pressure and we have to increase the temperature. Okay, so this is very important. Okay, see this one. Okay, solid is converted into liquid. Okay, solid is converted into liquid means that process is called fusion. If a liquid is converted to solid means that is called solidification. Okay, or we can also say deposition also. Solid is converted into gas, so that is called sublimation. Gas is converted into solid, that is also called sublimation. So liquid is converted into gas, that is called vaporization. Gas is converted into liquid, that is called condensation. So by changing the temperature we can convert from one to another. Okay, then come to the next page. Okay, see children, so we have to convert to Celsius scale. So how can we convert to Celsius scale? So we have to convert the following temperatures to Celsius scale. 300 Kelvin. So 300 Kelvin. So what we have to do? We have to minus 273. Okay, if you are minusing 273 means you will be getting the answer. Then 573 Kelvin has to be converted into Celsius scale. So we have to minus 273. Okay. The next question, what is the physical state of water at 250 degrees Celsius? If you are taking water and heating at 250 degrees Celsius, what happens? At 100 degrees Celsius itself, it will be converted into gas. At 250, we will be seeing only the gas phase only. 100 degrees Celsius means we will be seeing both the gas state and the vapor stage. Okay, so you write the answers for this questions. Okay, go through the book and go through the video, then only you get the clear-cut information. Dear children, your activity is write the definitions for melting point, boiling point, latent heat of fusion, latent heat of vaporization, sublimation. And the second one is write the answers for the questions in page number 9. Okay. Then the third one is give reason for the following. Why do we see droplets of water on the outer surface of glass containing ice cold water? Okay, so why do we see means we have to relate this with condensation and we have to write and describe an activity with label diagram to show the effect of increase of temperature on ice. Okay, so this is also in your book. Go through your book, learn from your book. If you have any doubt, send your messages or call me. I will be there to clear it. Okay, so write your homework properly, write your activity properly and submit to your class teacher. Thank you. See you all in the next class. Have a nice day.